Hello beautiful people and welcome to another video. This one was a real challenge and I genuinely didn't think that I was going to be able to fix it. I know, it's been a while, but I'm back with another project and this one is quite interesting. It's an old sideboard that's been through a lot. I don't know if you can see this on video. It's really beat up and these gouges are very deep. It's gonna be impossible to remove these scratches or gouges completely, so we'll see what I can do. I think this is the missing piece for the base and most of the veneer on it is gone. And this, yeah, that's some serious damage, and this doesn't even fit. I'll try to remove the glue and see if this will help. Looks like it's definitely a challenge. Well, let's see what I can do. I think I might have found this missing piece on the side. I'm also gonna take this base off and see if I can fix it or if I just need to make a new one. A bit rusty. This is not very strong, so I think I might need to replace this whole thing. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to do this. This is not good. I'm gonna leave this board for now, but this whole side, it needs to be re-glued. So I'm gonna reglue this because it's not attached very well, and I'll go from there. You can actually see how thick this veneer is. It needs to be reglued because it's peeling off, but it's quite thick. I used high glue because someone might want to take it apart at some point, so this is gonna make it easier. I warmed it up because otherwise it's solid. Put it in a little syringe and I injected it wherever it needed to go. And of course I clamped it so the glue could actually do its job. So this doesn't match at all. There's a huge gap and I can't just glue it on. I need to remove this glue and probably some of the bits that are stuck to the glue and see if it will look a bit better. Otherwise it's kind of pointless. I don't know how someone attached it previously, but it didn't seem to go where I thought it should go, and maybe I was just being thick, but it just didn't seem to fit. I'll need to do the same thing to this piece. It's strange because it fits like this. I don't know why, but it looks like this is how it's supposed to go on, but this obviously sticks out. Fortunately, I did figure it out eventually, and it was supposed to stick out. It's just that the other side was missing that sticking out bit. I used some high glue and some tape to attach it temporarily before I put some clamps on. This will need a lot of work after gluing because there is a big gap and a lot of little pieces missing, but I think I can make it work. What's up, trouble? If you're a regular viewer, you probably know Hugo. That's my neighbor's cat and he comes around quite often. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done to make this look decent, but definitely better than before. So this makes me think that I did it right, because I think this extended a little bit to support this piece, It just makes sense. But it's missing on the other side. Before I do anything to this entire section is lifted and delaminated, so I'm gonna see if I can reheat the glue and reattach it. Working on old furniture pieces sometimes feels like doing detective's work, trying to figure out what happened. Basically just trying to flatten this bit, which it looks like it's working. Because there's a gap, I'm gonna put some wood filler in the gap, and then once I'm done cleaning this or sanding, I'm going to do some color correction and try to paint the grain on so it matches. I decided that I was not going to reuse those pieces from the bottom because they were not strong enough, so I removed them. I'm pretty sure that if I try to remove this back, it will fall apart. So I can either just clean it and try to patch it up and leave it as is, or just replace it completely. And I think I'm gonna try to clean it, put some extra nails in here to strengthen it, and I think it should be good enough. It will definitely need some nails. Flathead screws. These screws are not cooperating, as per usual. Flathead screws are the absolute worst, and it always takes forever to get them out. And there are always some people in the comments who tell me how to remove those screws. Yes, I know about all those methods, and I typically try them off camera, but they often just don't work. I absolutely hate flathead screws. I think we've established it already. What a pain. I had to drill these screws out, and I just filled the gaps with UV resin that I'm curing right now with UV flashlight, or a torch if you're in England. I'm not sure what happened here, but I'll see if I can just put some glue in and push it in. Or suck it in. I actually used a vacuum and I sucked the glue from the bottom, which kind of worked. This is really tight, so I don't need to clamp this in any way. I think this will work. And you can see some glue on the bottom, so it definitely worked. When I was done with that, I injected some hide glue under the lifting veneer and I used some tape to hold it in place until it dried. So this is the next day. I let this dry overnight and I'm gonna sand the bottom before I do anything else. Now I'll think about what I want to do as far as the base, because I think I'll just make one from scratch. And don't mind my hair, it's a mess because, you know, midlife crisis and all that. I'm growing it out. So the veneer is glued on properly, but as you can see, this needs to be fixed because there's a huge gap. And yes, I used some regular wood glue for this bit because I just didn't feel like reheating the hide glue. And now I can finally do my favorite thing, sanding. I don't know the reason for that, but there were a bunch of little hooks or nails in both sides of the sideboard, like those for hanging jewelry, but in a very strange place. I think someone sanded this with a cheese grater because the swirls and the sanding marks on the bottom of this board are just horrendous. I don't know if you can see this, but this top is incredibly uneven. This is why some bits are being sanded more than others. And there are just a lot of dents, and some of them are very deep. I'll try to steam it, but I honestly don't know if I can do anything with it, because on top of it, obviously, there's lots of scratches and stains and everything else, so that's gonna be very difficult. Have a little faith in yourself. You are a professional after all. I sanded enough so there is no clear coat on this, but you can see all the damage. Look at this. This is really bad. This one is pretty deep and pretty bad, and I think I can fix it. There is a risk that the veneer will come off because of the heat and steam, but that's okay. I like living on the edge. Yeah, I think it's actually done a great job. That's not bad at all. Alright, now I've got like 200 more scratches to deal with, and Bob's your uncle. These are really deep, and I think they go all the way through the veneer, so not sure what I can do about these. That's gonna take a moment.
"2,000 years later."
This has taken a while. But I think I've managed to actually make the worst ones look pretty shallow, so I think I can sand them out. Now that's the optimism I'm talking about. It did look a bit daunting, but I was actually really amazed how much I was able to do. This is why wood is so cool, and even though this was veneer, it was really thick, so it gave me quite a lot of room to work with. And because when you apply heat and moisture to damaged wood, as long as the fibers are not broken, they will expand a lot and you can fix even really deep dents. This is definitely far from perfect. Looks like someone repaired this in the past, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in these gaps and sand over this, and this should do the trick. There are a couple of bits of veneer missing, but they are very small, so I'm going to use some wood filler, and then if needed I'll just do some color correction. I'm going to cut off a little bit from the end because it's damaged. So this is the big issue, the piece that I glued back on. I'm not done working on this side, but I'm trying to make sure that this is okay. It's not perfectly flat, but I don't think I can sand it anymore because I don't want to go through the veneer. Fun fact, I was gonna work on this project not long ago, but after looking at it, I decided that I was not gonna be able to pull it off without replacing the veneer, which I didn't want to do, so I gave up. I'm trying to find the best angle to show you how deep these are. And if I can actually remove them, that would be amazing. These are really bad, so I'm not really hoping that I'll be able to remove them completely, but you never know. I think that's as much as I can do. Let's do some sanding and see what it looks like. Because this is veneer, I used 180 grit and I took my time and I was able to eventually sand most of them out. There's a bit of discoloration, but I think I can manage to take care of this as well. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I'm going to the final bit by hand because I really don't want to get through this veneer, but it's looking good. Hello there. Have you come to check on the progress? Or do you just want a snack? After a short cut break number 2, I use some oxalic acid to see whether that would take care of the discoloration. This looks like teak veneer. I'm not sure what it is, but that's what I'm thinking. And now I just need to do 2 doors, the drawer, the other side, and the back plate thing. Sounds like fun. I don't think the oxalic acid is going to help much, so I think I need to do some more sanding and see if I can improve it even more, but I'll probably stain this anyway, so I think it's gonna be good enough. While this is drying, I'm going to do the other side, but it's actually in a better condition than this one. So I'm not gonna show it to you because you've already seen how I'm gonna do it. There are quite a few bits of veneer missing, so I think I'm going to take some of the veneer off from the base that I removed and replace this, and I'll make a brand new base. After a little bit of sanding, I used a chisel to make sure that all those gaps from missing bits of veneer were nice and straight, so I could actually cut replacement pieces and glue them in place. And if you're not new to my channel, I'm sure you've seen me do this before. To make it easy for myself, I removed some of the veneer that was on the base because I was not going to use it, and that just made it simple because it was exactly the veneer that I needed. These are small pieces of veneer, so I'm just going to use CA glue. There is really no need for anything else. If you're still watching, thank you, I appreciate it. And if you enjoy my videos, maybe subscribe for more videos like this. It's completely free, and this way the YouTube algorithm will show you many other videos similar to mine to keep you entertained. And as always, huge shout out to the channel members, you guys are the best. I think you get the idea. I'm gonna do the rest of them, and Bob's your uncle. Pretty happy with these repairs. Obviously, there is more, but I'm not gonna show you all of them because it's pretty boring. There are a couple more imperfections that I will try to sand out by hand. I don't know how much more veneer I've got left to work with, and I don't want to risk it. I'm actually pretty surprised how well this has come out. I couldn't have asked for more than this. I'm very happy. It looks great. I think I can definitely work with this. There are a couple of tiny cracks in the veneer, so I'm just gonna put some glue and just sand over it to close them. All right. Let's see what I can do with the other side. I'm not mad at this. It actually looks pretty nice. I'm going to clean this with water because I use oxalic acid, so I just want to deactivate it because it's pretty irritating when you breathe it in and it's not good for you. Look who's come to visit. And about a little sausage. These are actually for humans, but he really likes them, so that's what he eats. Because he's a spoiled little thing. Right? It's a good thing I've just cleaned this for you, huh? As you can see, Mando is doing very well. He just doesn't come around to the workshop very often. So this actually looks pretty nice when it's dry, but as you could see, when it isn't, all these imperfections unfortunately are more visible. So I'll do some sanding and see what I can do about it. Because I love sanding, and there is never enough sanding. I think this is all the sanding I'm comfortable doing because I think there is not much of this veneer left. I'm not sure what it's gonna look like when I put clear coat on it, but it looks good now. I'm actually pretty amazed how much I've been able to do with this. And like I said, I don't know what this is going to look like with clear coat on it, but there's no comparison to what I started with. I'm pretty amazed. At this point, I started getting excited and I was pretty optimistic about the end result because it looked like I was going to be able to pull it off. That's why I left the inside and the back until I felt like I could actually do this. So the inside is sanded and now I just need to do the back. That knot fell out when I was moving the sideboard, so I glued it back in place. These boards literally look like someone just took a whole tree and put it through a saw and didn't even bother cutting off the edges because there's still some tree bark on here. And this is really rough and it never was nice and flat, so I'm not gonna try to make it flat because there's really no way to do it unless I took all of the boards out, put them through a planer, but then they would be too thin to put them back on, so I'll see what I can do. I also don't want to sand them too much because I think the dust and the dirt is what's keeping them together. I don't want them to fall apart. Now that I think I've finally done enough sanding, at least for now, I'm gonna do some scraping. Because of the way the doors were constructed, I couldn't easily go in with my sander, so I had to do some scraping to remove most of the varnish and then do a lot of sanding by hand. It's a good thing I really like sanding. There's a small piece of wood missing and it's really tiny, so I could either just try and glue a piece of veneer, but I think I'm just going to use this epoxy, which I'm going to color match later on. So this is the drawer. I think I can just clean it up and refresh the inside without sanding the whole thing. There's a bit of a damage on the handle bit. I used epoxy putty for that as well, because that just seemed to be the simplest solution. This is not moving, so someone re-glued this, but there's a small gap. I think I might be able to get away with just cleaning this properly and using Old English to refresh the inside. I'm not gonna touch this for now because I need to sand this. After cleaning the drawer with white spirit and drying it with a towel, I took it outside because it was a sunny day, at least for a couple of hours, so it could dry properly. This is in a pretty decent condition, though as you can see there are some deep scratches, and I could probably just clean it up and put a clear coat over it, but I think I will sand it because these scratches will annoy me. I'm gonna do a little test. I don't actually think this is shellac, I think this is some sort of varnish, so the acetone might not work. Yeah, I don't think it will. This is a pretty strong thinner. Let's see if this will work. Looks like this is definitely working. The thinner was not fun to work with because it's very harmful and it stinks really bad, but I did wear a mask and I did it outside and it worked quite well. I wanted to remove the lacquer before I did any sanding because otherwise I would have had to remove the trim and I didn't want to do that. And with the top coat gone, it was actually pretty straightforward to sand it and it wasn't too difficult and it didn't take too much time. I'm gonna use some Old English on the inside of the drawer. This is really meant for dark colored woods, and because I haven't removed the top coat from the inside, this should work really well. And if I'm not happy with it, I'll just redo it. Because I'm not trying to make this look new, I don't think there's a way to make this look new unless I rebuild this whole thing. Just gives it this worn out vintage look, but it's nice and clean. There were those latches in one of the doors, but I didn't want to deal with those flathead screws, so I used a small wire brush to clean them in place. And now I can finally do the staining, and to make it easy I just put it in my spray gun, and as you can see that was super simple and quick. This is one of those pieces that from a distance it looks like it's okay-ish, but when you look at it closely you realize that it's in a pretty terrible state, so I'm pretty amazed that I've been able to actually pull it off. If you enjoy my videos and looking for more ways to support what I do, you can find all the links in the description. You can buy me a coffee or just hit the super thanks button, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So this is the next day. I let it dry overnight and I need to do lots of color corrections and fix all these little bits. And I decided that I'm not going to make a base. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Because if I do that, it's just a bit monotonous. It's just all the same color and a bit boring. So I think I need to add some blink to it to just give it more visual interest. And I do have legs that I bought recently that I think will be just perfect for this. They are similar height, but they just won't go all the way like the base would, and I think it's just gonna make it look a bit more interesting, and also will give it some blink because I will paint these. I'm going to use these markers, and I think this mahogany red will be just what I need. I actually think that this deep cordovan will be even better. Whatever color that is, because I haven't got a clue. But it seemed to work though. I'll make a couple lines with a black marker just to fake the grain. I'm actually going to use a very fine tip pencil for that. And when I put the clear coat on, it should blend it nicely. I'll need to add a bit of repair wax once I'm finished with the clear coat. This is actually not too bad. As I said, I painted the legs, I scuff sanded them, and I cleaned them with alcohol so the paint would stay on. And it's funny because it seemed like I had just enough paint for the legs. So this is the piece that I glued on and the repair that I made. I will add a little bit of repair wax just to fill these little gaps. If you didn't know, you probably wouldn't even notice because it doesn't really draw attention. The color matching is really good, and I think with a little bit of more wax, it will be almost unnoticeable. I'm going to clean the hinges, put the lock back in, and Bob's your uncle. And don't say he isn't, he is. After cleaning the hinges, I put everything together, but I'm not gonna show you that because that's boring. And look at that, how pretty. I'm going to use this hard wax oil. And it sounds like the sentence was supposed to continue, but no, it didn't. To apply the hard wax oil, I used microfiber cloth and also a small brush to get into all those hard to get to places, as you will see in a minute. More like 2 seconds actually. Anyhow, I let the oil sit for a little bit and I wiped it off with a clean microfiber cloth, and Bob's your uncle. This is always the most satisfying moment when you apply the clear coat on and it just comes to life and it's shiny and bold and you can see all the grain and it just looks beautiful. Not a day over 100 years. This is the side that was the most damaged, and I genuinely can't believe that this looks as good as it does. You can't really see any scratches. I guess I am a professional. Having said that, thank you again for watching. Enjoy the final results and I'll see you in the next video.